What's up? What's up? What's up, y'all? Check it out. Check it out in the basement with Next Step and K. Of course, I am K. Of course, reporting to you live around 9:38 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Right now, I'm actually watching the game. Caitlin Clark is putting on a clinic here. Right now, when you hear this horn, Caitlin Clark, she already eclipsed the record. So now she's going for the male record. She has 44 points, I believe, about like 12 assists and 5 rebounds. So it's like it could possibly be a 50-point night. Shout out to the Black Psychologist podcast who gave me the heads up on what was going on with Caitlin. But congratulations for making your way into the record books, being the all-time leading women's scorer in Division I basketball. So you're in the basement with Next Up and K. I am, of course, K, your Jets fan and Clippers fan. Speaking of which, shout out to the Clippers who actually fought their way back with the win yesterday. They won by 5, 125 to 120. Shout out to Steph Curry, setting more records. I believe, I'm not sure if he had 41 points or 51 points. By the way he was shooting, I thought he had 51 points. So all these threes he was hitting. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. Also talk a little bit about Shaq getting his number retired, I believe, yesterday. Number 32 is forever going to be in the rafters in Orlando. Also, I definitely want to talk about PJ Tucker and Bones Highland from the Clippers. They were sent home yesterday before the Golden State game, and they were told not to return to the team until after the All-Star break. So who knows what that entails. Also, I'm going to go over some of the playoff scores earlier today and yesterday and the day before from the pubs in the Catholic League, whoever was playing. I'm also going to go through some of the All-Star events. So without any further ado, we're just definitely going to do that. High school basketball on Tuesday. Philadelphia Performing Arts Charter School played against Imhotep Charter. Imhotep Charter won by a little bit, 81 to 24. Science leadership in Abraham Lincoln. In the public league, Abraham Lincoln won 81 to 62. On Wednesday, in the Catholic League, Bonner and Prendy and Archbishop Carroll played the first round of the playoffs, and Archbishop Carroll won 66 to 51. For Archbishop Carroll, Foster had 19 points, 8 rebounds, 1 steal, and 1 block. For Bonner and Prendy, Francis had 13 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, and a block. And Cardinal O'Hara and Devon Prep also played in the Catholic League. For Cardinal O'Hara, they win 63 to 61. For O'Hara, Burton had 21 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists. For Devon Prep, Thayer had 19 points, 2 rebounds, and 2 steals. Back in the public league, Frankfurt High School and Engineering and Science. Shout out to the Black Psychologist podcast. It's actually my brother's alma mater in high school. Also, shout out to my man Justin Scott over there coaching the St. Joe's. Also went to ENS. ENS actually won 67 to 51. Episcopal Academy in the Interact played against Penn Charter, and Penn Charter won 68 to 62. Didn't get a chance to get that box score. But congratulations to Penn Charter, boys and girls, because they're actually the 23-24 interleague, inter-AC champs. Also, Agnes Irwin for the girls, Penn Charter girls, won 63 to 35. They're also the Interact champs as well. And also want to give a hearty congratulations to Caleb Bethea, who actually joined the 1,000 point club with the win over Agnes Irwin. And for college basketball on Tuesday, for women's college basketball, you had Dayton and St. Joe's. Not a whole lot of teams actually played. Mostly is getting their rest. Dayton and St. Joe's actually played, and St. Joe's won 73 to 47 over Dayton. Shout out to Aaliyah Sneed, the Sneed family. Shout out to Gerald, friend of the program and everything. Aaliyah Sneed didn't get a whole lot of points. She didn't really get in like that, but she definitely did get a board in there. So I mean, whether it was one board or 10 boards, like you're still in the books. So I definitely take that. For men's basketball on Tuesday, LaSalle and Davidson played. LaSalle lost to Davidson 71 to 56. Also on Tuesday, Ole Miss and Kentucky played some SEC action. Kentucky with the wins, 75-63. Justin Edwards, shout out to Imhotep. 12 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist, 2 steals. DJ Wagner from across the river over there in Camden. DJ Wagner, 4 points and 4 assists. He's just getting back, trying to get his legs back and everything like that. Yesterday, some A10 action, UMass and Richmond. UMass with the win, 69-59 over Richmond. Shout out to Russell Diggins. I believe he didn't have 3 points. I think he had like 13 points, I believe. 13 points, 1 rebound, 2 assists, and a block. One of the games that I was watching actually last night, I didn't get a chance to watch the whole thing. St. Joe's and Loyola Chicago. Shout out to Sister Jean. And St. Joe's actually lost this game. They actually lost by 5, 64-59. But man, shout out to Xavier Brown. Xavier Brown's been hooping for the last couple of days. I think the last game he had like 27 points, and this game he had 29 points. Actually, 29 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, and a block. And to end it all, some ACC action last night. Clemson and Miami played. Shout out to Wooga from Miami, Bonner and Prendy. Wooga had 11 points, 2 rebounds, and 1 assist, even though they lost to Clemson 77-60. So that pretty much does it all for high school and college for this midweek matchup. Now today is actually Thursday, so tomorrow there's not going to be any games tomorrow. Most of the games are going to be played tonight, and most of the games were actually played last night. It was pretty much like a 12-game roster last night. Today is probably maybe 4 games, I'm going to say. So basically what's going to be happening here on Friday, if you're not doing anything, if you're not going out to see the Bob Marley movie, which I heard some pretty good things about, hopefully I get a chance to go see it this weekend. If you're not doing anything on Friday, the All-Star events actually start off, which starts off with the Rising Stars Open Practice, which pretty much means the freshmen and sophomores, basically. Rookies and sophomore open practice at 11 a.m. Tomorrow morning, Friday. Then also you're going to have, later that afternoon, you're going to have the announcement of the Hall of Fame class of 2024 at 5:30. Then the NBA All-Star Celebrity Game follows up at 7 o'clock. And then the Rising Star game is after that. Pretty much, I would say like around like 8:30, 9 o'clock. It's pretty much going to kick off. Then pretty much after that Friday night is going to be partying, all types of stuff. Then Saturday, you got the open All-Star practice, with the players, and also you have the media day. So whatever question and answer sessions. Then also, if you're not doing anything around 2 p.m. That Saturday afternoon, HBCU Basketball Classic, HBCU, Virginia Union versus Winston-Salem State. And Virginia Union has boasted such players as Ben Wallace. I believe Charles Oakley was a Virginia Union alum. Winston-Salem State, of course, Earl the Pearl. And stated the address by the NBA Commissioner Adam Silver. That's like later that night at 7. Then, of course, you have All-Star Saturday night with the Skills Challenge, the NBA three-point contest. It's going to be the matchup between Steph Curry and Sabrina, the three-point challenge. And then, of course, the granddaddy of them all, the slam dunk contest. Then on Sunday, of course, you're going to have the Legends Brunch, and then the G League games at 1:30 on Sunday. And then after that, you rest up, and 8 p.m., NBA All-Star game. Then you have off for that Monday. Then Tuesday, they get back into the regular schedule. And speaking of the regular schedule, it's been on Twitter and also on Instagram. And the NBA has got word of it, and PJ Tucker has been fined by the NBA for openly asking for a trade from the Clippers. He's recently been complaining. He and Bones Highland have been complaining, about how much playing time they're not getting, and they're not in the rotation regularly. And so I guess he voiced his opinion to the where, to maybe the higher ups. And the coaching was like, listen, I'm kind of sick of this. Listen, I'm going to send you guys home. You're not going to play in the Golden State game. I'm going to send you guys home. Don't come back till after All-Star weekend, or basically until your mind's right, basically. So let me know how you feel about that. Do you think they're going to get rid of PJ? PJ, I'm going to say PJ and Bones before All-Star break is up, because, what's up, Gideon? What's up? Um, yes. Thank you, G. The clips actually definitely did show courage and heart in Dub Nation. But you know what? G. I think the Dubs aren't the same Golden State Warriors that we all know and love. Even though like Steph Curry put up a great performance last night, it's not the same Dubs. And I think most teams are starting to figure that out now. Because I think they're starting to figure out the schemes. I'm not saying they're slower or anything like that, but I think it's Golden State is a little bit more deliberate now. So I think the new car smell is over. It's time for the changing of the guard. I'm going to say. I mean, I think hopefully if the Clippers play the way that they're playing now with that type of resilience and defense, um, I think we could be looking at a Clippers in the Western Conference Final. I'm not going to say anything much more than that because I don't want to jinx my squad. But definitely a great game last night. PG just got in his bag and he played like PG does. And I remember I think they asked PG about getting his number retired in Indiana, and to PG's humble response, PG said, "I haven't played enough years there to get my jersey retired." Now I don't think he's going to get his number retired in Oklahoma City either. Now I think his best bet, I think which is probably going to happen is. Shout out to Caitlin Clark right now. Caitlin Clark actually has 49 points. So I think she's going to go for the 50 ball. I'm just watching it right now. Caitlin's coming. Caitlin just gave the ball up and somebody got fouled. Yeah. So, but I'll let you know when Caitlin hits 50. I think she's going to get a 50 burger. God, man, she's just letting. I'm sitting here watching it on Peacock. She's just really letting this thing go. But I think she's coming out now. Okay, yeah, she's coming out. She's not going to get 50. She's coming out. But she definitely has the school record for points in the game, which is 49. Shout out to Caitlin. Shout out to Caitlin with that. Let's get back to PJ Tucker. Let's get back to PJ Tucker and Bones because, I thought that PJ Tucker, even though he's not getting all the playing time, I thought at least he was going to be like the savvy veteran, because he has a championship pedigree and he's older. He's like 39 years old. I don't know what team would have him. I mean, he's not the same PJ Tucker that we all know and love. I mean, he's far removed, like PJ Tucker from Texas, but it's just a simple fact that, I don't know why he's being such a distraction on a team that's going so well, because I can understand if the team was losing and he's like making these remarks and stuff like that, maybe, because he's unhappy, but you're unhappy and usually winning makes everything better, but like I said before, he's not the same PJ Tucker that we all know and love. It's not the same championship pedigree PJ Tucker from Milwaukee or PJ Tucker from Phoenix, or I would even say PJ Tucker from the Sixers. Or PJ Tucker from, I'm trying to remember, what's the other team that he played for? He played for Milwaukee. He played for Sixers. He played for, okay, yeah. So I think he played for just those three teams. But still, I don't know what's going on with him, for him to be, like a distraction like that. He's talking about like, the NBA is a joke and, this is not what I'm about, and now it's kind of like he got Bones in the mix now too. And I think it's more of like my brother and I were talking about this off stage on the phone. And he was like, miserable people love miserable company. So, if I'm upset with the coach and then there's someone else who's not getting playing time either, he's like, oh yeah, I can just talk to him about like, we can just be mad together. You know what? F the Clippers, F Ty Lue, F the organization. NBA is a joke, but guess what? Bones? Like PJ Tucker is going to take you down with him, and then you're going to be labeled as uncoachable. I'm not going to say a team cancer, but you're going to be like one of those disgruntled, non-coachable players. Even though I know you're way coachable than PJ Tucker is. PJ Tucker knows better. PJ Tucker's like 40. So you've been through the NBA. You've done like your duty and stuff like that. I mean, and to be honest with you, like the way the rotation is right now, and with the Clippers and the way that they're playing right now, all cylinders. You're probably not going to touch the floor maybe until like the playoff. That's when we really need you. We don't need, but guess what? If you're going to be disgruntled like that, we don't need a disgruntled player who's going to mess up the whole rotation and the whole like dynamic of the team. Because one disgruntled player in the playoffs can ruin it, can ruin the whole season just because you're unhappy, you want to voice your opinion. There's ways that you can do that. You can go to the coach maybe after practice in a more professional way. Like, come on, PJ, you're 40. You're a grown man. You should know this by now. Like, if you're not happy with your playing time, maybe you can find a way to be a mentor to some of these to the younger rookies or the younger players on the team. Like Amir Coffey or something like that, or when Paul George was in a shooting slump, like he could have went over to Paul George. Hey, look, PG, like keep it up. I'll go to practice. I'll stay at practice with you. Put up some more shots, whatever the case may be. Like instead, you're going to sit there and complain about how much you're not getting any playing time, and you're probably just doing just enough to stay on the roster. But I think, to be honest with you, I think they're probably gonna get rid of him just because it is, because you're being so much of a distraction. Now it's on Twitter, it's on Instagram, it's on Facebook, it's on all these different social media outlets. Now everybody can see it. Now everybody knows you're disgruntled. So and down the Clippers are winning. So the first thing people are going to say is, we can win without you. I'm just saying. And Bones, don't follow PJ. I'm telling you, man. Like, don't do it. I seen you play live, and I know what you can do. We need you for the playoffs, my brother. So you just chill. I'm just saying. So anyway, that's just my opinion on that. Last but not least, we're going to go over Shaq's jersey being retired, number 32. Forever in the rafters in Orlando. Congratulations to Shaq and the Orlando Magic. It's about time to start retiring numbers. I think they should have been retired numbers up there, but you definitely have to do them justice with getting having the players that built that foundation, have them first. Because a lot of people would say, well, Dwight Howard should get his first. No, because Dwight Howard didn't build that franchise. I mean, he kept the franchise afloat after them. But if it wasn't for like Nick Anderson, Donald Royal, Brian Shaw, Nick Anderson, Penny, Scott Skiles, let me see, who else used to play for that team? Let me see, that's Donald Royal, Darryl Armstrong. Like most of those guys, without them. Without those playoff runs that they had, like in the early 90s and the mid 90s and the late 90s and stuff like that, there wouldn't be like the Dwight Howards, the Tracy McGrady's, stuff like that. Even though they deserve, they have their numbers retired too. Even Grant Hill, I would retire Grant Hill's number just because. But I think Grant Hill's going to get retired as a Piston, probably, if anything, as first. He's probably going to get retired as a Piston. Then maybe the Orlando Magic. I don't know, but probably more or less as a Piston. But anyway, it was definitely a very classy move for Shaq to bring out, the rest of his crew, Dennis Scott, Penny, Nick Anderson, because just like Shaq, they also made it work. They also helped Shaq to get those numbers, to have Shaq as great as he was, because if there was no Penny, Shaq wouldn't be getting those easy baskets like that. Someone got to feed the big dog. Then also, you have to have somebody to, pass the ball to double and triple teams. You got Nick Anderson, Dennis Scott for that. Shooter's paradise, So definitely a classy move. It was definitely great to see them all together. I would shout out to Scoop B. I would love to have like all four of them, just to interview them, just to like hear the stories of like the Orlando Magic and, what they went through as a young team and how it was with a young Shaq and a young Penny and so much potential, that they could have had. So But definitely congratulations to Shaq getting his number retired. I would say next up, I would say probably Pennies, probably either Pennies or Nick Anderson's. Not even that order, but I think probably Pennies, then probably Dwight Howard's, and then Tracy McGrady, then Nick Anderson, whatever the case may be. But I would definitely have to show Nick Anderson some love because it was really, really hard. We got a chance to, sidebar. We definitely got a chance to interview Nick Anderson. Shout out to Scoopy Radio, Brandon Robinson, for allowing me to, transcribe and also help produce that interview during COVID, and he talked about that. Because everybody talks about, the only thing that Nick Anderson is good for was missing those 4 free throws, but Nick Anderson was way more than that, man. Well, Nick was a hell of an athlete. Went to Simeon, then he played for the Flying Illini with like Kendall Gill and Kenny Battle and Marcus Liberty. So, I mean, he's had a hell of a career. But unfortunately, I mean, somebody's the winner and somebody's the GOAT, because keep in mind, like, before those missed free throws, Nick Anderson was balling that series. Like, even though it was I think it was like the first or second game, but Nick Anderson was balling that whole season. Like, there would be no getting to the finals. There would be no beating, the Bulls if it wasn't for like Nick Anderson. Nick Anderson shooting and defense on Michael Jordan. Even though you can't stop Mike, but he definitely made it hard for Mike. To get his points, stuff like that. And also keep in mind, Nick Anderson was the guy who stole the ball from Mike, to help them get that advantage in that series. And the Orlando Magic is the only team that ever beat Michael Jordan in a playoff series. No other teams have beat Mike in the playoff series. Not the Knicks, not Boston, not Atlanta, not Cleveland. Let me see who else. Not Indiana, not the Jazz, not the Sonics, not the Lakers. Yeah, the only team that ever beat Michael Jordan in a 7-game series, not even a 7-game series, but in a playoff series, were the Orlando Magic. Forever noted, So shout out to the Magic, shout out to the Magic organization, shout out to Shaq, shout out to Penny, shout out to Dennis Scott, Nick Anderson. But definitely, hopefully, this will be a long line of other Orlando Magic greats, to get their number retired. And that pretty much does it. Let me know how you feel about the comments. Let me know how you feel about the PJ Tucker and Bones Highland. Also, shout out to Caitlin. Caitlin dropped 49 points. The final. Let's see, what is the final? It's not coming up yet, but Caitlin Clark definitely had 49 points, career high. Also a career high in Iowa, with a historic night with 49 points in Iowa's win over Michigan. So, yeah, this is pretty much it. So definitely want to send shout outs to everybody. Hopefully everybody had a good Valentine's Day if you celebrate, Valentine's Day. And let me know how you guys feel. Coming up this weekend is going to be more scores I'm going to give you guys. I'll probably get on for a little bit tomorrow because I know there was some Catholic League playoff action today. And hopefully those box scores will be ready tomorrow morning. I'll get those out. And I'll probably go on like tomorrow afternoon. If not tomorrow afternoon, hopefully like tomorrow evening. Hopefully Larry will be with me. Larry's out there working hard. Shout out to Larry. Shout out to the Scott family. I love you guys. I can't wait for you to get back on, Larry. Shout out to the Black Psychologist Podcast. Shout out to Cammy's Clothing Closet. And shout out to the guys at The Run. Shout out to everybody who's out here listening, to the fam and everybody. And this is Casey from the Debater from Next Step and Who. Okay. And thanks for listening. And shout out to everybody. Shout out to all my Deltas and AKAs out there. Love you guys. See you tomorrow.